Hi everyone, Melissa here with Create Your Future. And today I have an awesome guest joining me. Amanda's here for this video. Hi, Amanda.
Hey everyone.
And today we are super excited because we are going to be answering a subscriber question. So I'm going to read that first, and then we'll give some affirmations and some insight into what this person's blocks are and how they manifest what they want. And don't forget, I'm available for one-on-one coaching, and I have some awesome courses that will be in the description of this video. And let me get into the email. Okay, so this subscriber says, hi guys, you are amazing. I have a question and I wanted to get your perspective of this as I'm working on any resistance and blocks of what has happened in my latest relationship or what is manifested in my latest relationship. I'm not going to get into the old story because I've killed it, but I will say that I manifested not being seen as an equal partner, self-sufficient because my parents are paying my rent until February so I can pay the rest of my credit card debt off. I have manifested paying almost all of about $2,000 off. I had about $12,000 in February when I was dating my SP. My job isn't a career job, but I love it. I'm a nanny, and I don't care what anyone says. I'm very into my mental health and doing what makes you happy. I don't have a 401k and I don't have health insurance, but I have been nannying for about 4 years now, and I've been able to live and adjust my lifestyle accordingly because my happiness is more important than working an 8-to-5 job. But my parents have been paying my rent and have given me until this coming February to pay off my debt while keeping the job I have. I thought I was okay because I was pretty much single the entire time I've been on this journey until I met my SP. He's amazing. He pushed me to want to be more self-sufficient, how important it is to be self-sufficient, and was supporting me, not financially, but as a partner, to get all of my finances in order. Definitely am grateful for that, but 3 weeks ago, I manifested him feeling insecure with how I'm not quite as self-sufficient as I should be at 36. And I don't blame him. I forgive him completely. We broke up, and I've been really doing inner work because I know I manifested this. As I've been alone the last 3 weeks, I've been realizing I don't think I've ever taken money seriously because my parents are amazing and have always gotten me out of my financial issues. I'm definitely on the path to financial freedom and have been affirming and embodying the identity of what I want. I'm debt-free, I'm self-sufficient, I'm supported and capable, bridging the gap between where I'm at in the 3D to what I'm becoming. I'm also affirming empowering affirmations about feeling worthy of financial freedom, embracing the support from my parents, that it's safe, okay, and grateful, but wondering if you had any more advice of what some other blocks might be. Thank you so much for your advice. Okay, so that was a lot, but just to sum it up, she wants to become financially secure and self-sufficient, and the story or the knowing that she's not those things spilled over into her relationship with SP and resulted in a breakup. So she also wants to fix that relationship and basically just get rid of this story once and for all.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, she does look, if you ask here to look for, advice on what some of her blocks might be. Now, I think it's incredibly important to let you guys know that it's hard to find out what your actual blocks are unless we have a conversation with you, because remember, your thoughts either are in line with what you want and manifest your desires, or they block you from your desires. Like at any moment of the day, you can have a block and not have a block. So, sitting down with us coaching is the best way for us to pick your brain, literally find out what you're thinking, give you some great intentions and an action plan. But we're going to do our best here. We actually followed up, and she said, can you at least tell me if I'm on the right path? I've definitely reflected on the past of how my parents made me feel about what self-sufficient means to them, examining what self-worth is in the financial context and is what makes me valuable and in a relationship. And you know what? For me, right, what I see in a lot of this, and I understand where she's coming from, it's holding other people's ideals, right? So, if you want to be self-sufficient, say I'm self-sufficient and everybody sees me that way, done, right? It's like, what's your self-worth in a financial context? Well, whether you take money seriously or not, it's just energy. So, I mean, I've always said that I've manifested tons of money, and I always have, and also, relationships. I've always said that I'm a great girlfriend, and I always manifest people easily. So, I, as far as what makes you valuable in a relationship, start writing that out right now. I know what makes me valuable in a relationship. I'm a great girlfriend. I'm loyal. I'm trustworthy. I think of the other person. I do what I can to take care of them. I never have a malicious thought about him. I'm always thinking about how I can make his life better and how we can have a good time. You know what I mean? So because everyone's you pushed out. So if you start creating, look at, what, I'm self-sufficient and my parents see me that way. So you make the choice, right? You make the choice of what makes you valuable. You start declaring it, and everybody's going to pick up on it, right?
Right. Oh, those are all great points. And some of the things I noticed in this subscriber's message was the first big one is every manifestation is its own thing. Every desire is its own thing. So a lot of times we don't even realize we're doing this, but what she's doing is she's conditioning one manifestation with the other. She's saying, I want to be financially secure, and because I'm not, even though I also want a relationship with SP, I can't be because I'm not financially secure. But really, they're two totally separate manifestations that have nothing to do with each other. You're just putting that unwanted story on that scenario, and pretty much every scenario in your life, right? So that's the first thing I would say is try to objectively look at your desires and don't attach them to any other desire. Just let it be okay that you can want that and have that thing. And there doesn't have to be a reason for why. You just can have it because you're you and because you exist, right? So that was one thing I really wanted to call out. And also, she mentioned that her job, what did she say specifically? Let me just look at that. She says her job isn't a career, and she doesn't care what anybody says about it. You can, first of all, it doesn't matter what job you do, you can decide it's a career, even if somebody else doesn't think it's a career. And also the big thing I want to say is you can make money doing what you love, and you have to own that new story. Because right now, what the subscriber is saying is, I'm doing what I love, but it doesn't really help me be financially secure. I don't think I can be financially secure doing this, but I'm going to do it because I love it. But guess what? That's just a story. You can be financially secure doing what you love.
You know what I just had, right, is like, this reminded me of my story. So when I first quit my corporate job that I got paid a lot of money at, I was told by everyone that loved me, don't leave the security, don't start your own business. This isn't a good idea. And I went, you know what? No, it is a good idea. And I did it. And now they're all like, oh my goodness. So for instance, like, here's an example, right, from one business person to another. I mean, okay, you're a nanny. That's great. But why don't you scale that? Why don't you become, basically, the operations where you basically have lots of nannies working for you, and you connect them with clients and babysitters, and you be that hub. I mean, you can scale it and make a whole entire business out of it. You can even make a career out of it. You just intend that there's some company out there that needs to hire nanny supervisors, and now you're supervising all these nannies and you're getting paid more. If you can think it, you will create it to be a thing in the world. The only thing that limits you is your imagination. I can't even remember right now, but there's been times that I've intended something, and all of a sudden it was a thing. And I was like, oh my God. Oh yeah. For instance, in my business, I intended that, the marketing, I wouldn't have to pay tons for marketing, and there's YouTube, right? You know what I mean? So whatever you intend, and there was like some other things with like GST, if you're in Canada, HST, you'll get it. I've manifested that away. Like, I've taken tolls off the bridge. I've taken away, medical service plan charges, anything you can think possible, just declare it and it will show up, right?
And to your point, she could also decide that what she's currently doing is really valuable. Amp up your value to you. You're worthy of a higher salary, and the people that pay you are going to pay it because it's you, and you are irreplaceable. You are a premium. You are, it's a privilege to be able to have you in their company, to be able to pay you, to be able to know that you're taking care of their kids. A lot of
Right.
this boils down to also, I'm not good enough. Underneath this whole story is, I'm not good enough because I'm not financially secure. My job's not good enough because people don't think it's a career. I'm not good enough to be in the relationship with SP because I'm not financially secure. You know, it's all that same story, just packaged up in a little different bow, right? So another way I like to think about the story is, what coat am I going to put on today? Am I going to wear the coat that's this I'm not good enough coat, and it's just going to kind of not be warm enough and I'm going to be annoyed and cold all day? Or am I going to pick a different, better, more beautiful coat that is my new story, right? So think of your stories as like, what am I attaching myself to today? What am I going to wear today? What is my character going to wear today in terms of who my character is and how my character is valued?
Exactly, exactly. You know, and Melissa's nailed it. I mean, you know, we're making one dependent on the other, and in neurolinguistic programming, we call that double binding ourselves, right? Like, oh, you know what? I would get a date if I only lost 5 pounds. You know what? I would be happy if I only had this $500, right? And it's like. No, it's like I can go on vacation. I can be happy now. I can have a marriage now. One thing I would say when I was coaching with the clients, especially the ones that wanted to be different and change themselves before they got into a relationship, I was like, look at it, who cares about the 5 pounds now? You're planning to be with this person, get married, have kids. Your body is going to change all throughout your life. Why don't we just start saying that I'm good enough right now to have what I want just the way I am, and I relate, when I first met Andrew, I was not successful. I was just starting out and I was scared to tell him. And you know what? I finally did tell him, and because we were getting serious, and he said, Amanda, he's like, I'm not with you because you're successful or anything like that. He's like, I'm with you because I enjoy spending my time with you. So right now, just start intending that, because things are going to happen in life. Don't make anything in your life be dependent on anything else. I mean, for instance, create your future. I mean, I've been around now doing this for 8 years, and it's not dependent on anything. I mean, I've gone through lots of health changes, life changes, and everything. And regardless, I always intend, regardless of what's going on in my life, create your futures here. The coaches are always helping people. Don't make, your relationship dependent on, how much money you have, because then the money's gone, the relationship is gone, because your subconscious mind will do that. The book, Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy, he explains that so clearly. So I do highly recommend that book.
Oh yeah, I love that book.
Yeah.
It's so good.
No, yeah. Yeah, it's a good one.
And another thing that I always call out to every client and to myself too is, just because I can't figure out how it could possibly be true doesn't mean it's not true. Just because I can't see it with my eyes right now doesn't mean it doesn't exist and that it's not happening and true now. Like, that's such a misunderstanding, misunderstanding really of how all this works. But when you declare something as true, it's true no matter what, regardless whether you can see it in front of your face or not. And if you hold that conviction in that assumption, in that declaration, at some point in the very near now moment, you will see it with your eyes, but you know it first. You decree it, you decide it, you select it first.
Exactly. So, you know what? I intend that all this information has really, really helped you. And guys, we just want to throw it out there that we do answer your questions. Post your questions under the video. We do send them to the coaches as video ideas. And if you email them in, we may answer them as well. So up to you. Posting the question is a great way to get a hold of us, right? To have your questions answered. Just be aware that, it's not a full on, these are your blocks, this is your action plan, because we need to sit down and have a conversation with you to do that correctly. Because there's a lot of thoughts, just like today, it was like Andrew was working. I thought to myself, is he mad at me? And it was like, oh my God, Amanda, no, stop. Mental diet. No, he's fine. He's just working. And then all of a sudden he said, I'm sorry. It may seem like I'm mad at you, but I'm just working. And I'm like, oh, so like in a moment there, I had a block to a happy relationship because I was worried he was mad at me. And if I would have kept going on that thought and started going, why is he mad at me? Then you know what? Later on, he would have been like, I'm mad at you. For something I just made up. Oh, I caught it. All right. I was like, yeah, we don't want to have this kind of evening tonight, but that's how quick you can block yourself and unblock yourself, right? In the matter of a thought. I remember I had this client and she said, well, I intended my boyfriend to call me and say that he loved me, and he did. And I was like, oh my God, that's great. And she's like, but you know what? The next day he actually texted me and said that he didn't mean it. And I'm like, oh, and that he was drunk. And I said, oh, I'm like, how did you manifest that? She's like, I don't know. And then she says, but you know what? And so we're talking about it. And I'm like, well, tell me what happened on the call. She told me. And then I said, when you hung up, like, what did you think? She's like, oh, my first thought was, he doesn't mean it. He's drunk. It's like,
There you go.
there you go.
Whatever you
know,
say, boss, that's what your subconscious mind says. Whatever you say.
Exactly. So, Melissa's going to help you to break down those thought patterns and find out where things are blocking for you. I mean, our minds like to keep things the same sometimes, and sometimes we have to fight them. Sometimes they just want to start a fight. You know? And you know what? We just got to remind ourselves our thoughts create. Everyone's overhearing them. Get me my tinfoil hat.
You don't have to believe every thought you have, especially if you
No,
don't like it.
exactly.
If you don't like it,
Yeah,
leave it, kick it out, move on to a better one. That's the easiest way
exactly.
to break the pattern. And before we end this video, I have a few affirmations I wanted to give the subscriber
Yes.
for this specific email. Okay, so to this subscriber, first of all, thank you so much for submitting your question, and I intend that this video helps you. And here's some things I would start doing to change your story. These are new affirmations, so anytime you start thinking the old story, I want you to replace it with some of these. And the first one is, it's easy to be financially secure. I'm good enough to be loved just as I am. I'm good enough to be financially secure. I can be financially secure doing what I love. And people love giving me money, but I don't need them to be financially secure. And, if you don't want to use those exact ones, just word them how you talk to yourself, but something along those lines.
I love that. I love that. And yeah, you know what? And my SP loves me just the way I am. My SP, he never cares about money. He only cares about spending time with me because I make him feel good, regardless of how much money I have and what I look like.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah. No, that's so amazing. Thank you so much for sending in that question. This was fun. Thank you, Melissa. Thanks for inviting me on your
Thanks,
video.
Amanda.
I really appreciate it. You're welcome. You really know your stuff, I know
Me
you
too.
do, but when we do a video, I'm like, what? She knows her stuff. Anyways, guys, we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Hey, everyone.